it's TxStampin Sharon. On today's video, we're going to be making two different cards. Same kind of layout, but two different cards. I love Emboss Resist, and I haven't shared that with y'all in a while, so we're going to be doing that today. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I invite you to subscribe below and then hit that notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a video or I go live on YouTube. If you currently do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, need a catalog, want to sign up for my newsletter, all that good stuff, you can do that below the video. Just click the Show More button and you'll find all that information there. Let's get to stamping. I'm using two stamp sets today. One is Forever Blossoms and the other one is my favorite, Happy Thoughts. I'm going to show you two different cards. One is no embossing, the other is an Emboss Resist. So I decided to do two different versions because if you're a new stamper, you may not be into embossing yet, but it's the same concept for both cards. So if you start off making cards this way, quick, easy, elegant card, you can always step it up by adding Emboss Resist. So we're going to make two cards today, and then I have some other samples to share with you. I'm using Shimmery White, and by the way, if you want to remember this tutorial, on my blog below the video, I have a link to my blog and you can get the download that you can print off. It's a PDF that has the measurements, the supplies that I used. That way you can just store it in your binders and have it to keep. So I'm using the blending brush, and as you can see, it's stained, but it doesn't get on my fingers. When I'm all done with the video and everything, I will just take this to the sink, add a little bit of soap on it, and then rinse it off under the water, and it'll be good to go. So I'm going to use Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. First, I'm using Highland Heather on the card that we're not embossing because I wanted a lighter purple, a lighter shade. I'm just getting some ink on there, and I'm just kind of starting off the edge and just coming around, adding my ink. I love these blender brushes. They just make quick, easy cards. I've used it on several videos, so you do get a pack of 3 when you purchase these. And like I've said before, I thought that I would have to have one for every color, but they clean up so beautiful, you don't have to worry about that, which is great. You can find these on my store. They're called blending brushes, and once you use them, you'll want to use them all the time. I just love them. Okay. So I have my stamp, and I want to stamp my thank you in the middle. You do want to do this first before you go any further. And I'm going to show you an example of one that I did on purpose where I didn't do that so that you would see what would happen. I always find that visuals help me remember. I hope it does you too. Okay, so we've stamped our thank you. And now we're going to take our very large stamp from the Forever Blossoms. And I just like to do a little wiggle, really get that ink onto the stamp. And then I'm going to just stamp it, turning my stamp different ways. This is such a big stamp, so make sure that you press really good. And I think it's pretty just like that, but I kept on going. I think this could be one of those types of cards that you could just make a ton of for any reason, not just a thank you card. And I'm just creating a border with my stamp. And I prefer to ink up my stamp this way because it is so big. Just really want to make sure that I get lots of ink on it. But by stamping that thank you in the center, I know exactly where I can stamp my flowers and leaves, and I don't mess up. One more right there. Quick and easy, but so pretty. So I have my layers. Oh, let's cover that up. I'll be sticking my fingers in that. And now we're just going to adhere our layers together. Quick and easy, but pretty. It's very pretty. All right, let's do it again, but this time we're going to do the Emboss Resist. I'm going to clean my stamp really good, and I'm going to show you a tip. You guys know me by now, if you've watched me for a hot minute, that I love to share tips. Sometimes tips can be shared as I go. I did create a video that had a ton of tips in it, but there's always something to learn, and there's always still something for me to share with you. So I have washed and dried my stamp. Now I'm getting ready to ink it up in a Versamark pad, and I want to make sure that it's good and clean. I did pretty good. So I always like to just stamp off and see if I see any shadowing of my previous ink on there. So now we're going to take, and I am going to use a static remover. I do not want the embossing powder to go where I don't want it. We used to sell those. We don't have those anymore, but you can purchase those online at Amazon. They sell them, and you can also get them like at a sports center, like a sweat. What did they tell me? I forget what somebody told me on another video. Okay, so again, I want to stamp my thank you in the center so that I know where to stamp my big flower. Stamp straight down, lift straight up, and I still got a little hiccup. Do y'all see it? All right, we're going to turn that over, and I'm actually going to clean my stamp really quick. And we're going to do it again. Stamp straight down, lift straight up. Much better. But now, this side, I didn't use my static remover, so I am going to do that. And now I'm going to take my Versamark ink and ink up my stamp. And then I can just start stamping on this layer. And do the same thing that I did on the first card. So now we're going to use our white emboss powder, and I'm just going to pick this up carefully and pour my powder all over my Versamark. Just give that a good tap on the back. Get all the excess powder off. And I like to have just a, this is just a cutting board covered with foil. I just feel like it deflects the heat a little bit better and helps me do my embossing a little bit quicker. Now basically what we have is white on white. So you just really want to turn it to the light and make sure you got it all heated up and the powder's melted, and I do see a spot. There we go. So I hope you can see it on the camera, but I just want to make sure that all of my powder is melted. So we're going to pull out our gorgeous grape now. I feel like the Emboss Resist works better with a darker ink. So I'm going to get my blending brush again. And I'm just starting off on the side and just rubbing it across. And you really can't see my images. You can kind of see it now, but in a minute you're going to be able to see it. So this is what it looks like right now. And then I'm just going to take a rag and I'm going to rub on my embossed areas. The ink does not stick to the embossing because it's almost like a plastic. There we go. We just have a little subtle embossing and you can feel it. I love texture, so I love feeling it. Okay, so I have my layers again, and we're just going to adhere our layers. Quick and easy, but elegant cards. So I tried different colors, and those are the ones that I want to share with you when I'm done with this card. I'm matting it on Gorgeous Grape. And I'm just going to add a little bit on the inside. And you know, I don't normally decorate the inside on my videos, but I just had this thought. Let's just take our Gorgeous Grape and let's just add a little bit, maybe over here, just a little bit of extra color, maybe up at the top. I like that. just ties it all in. Let's bring in the other card we did. So not embossed, embossed. So I told y'all that I was going to share a visual with you about why you need to stamp the thank you first. So on this one, I tried to stamp the thank you afterwards, but I had stamped my flowers too close, and you can see that it didn't work. So I wanted to share that visual with you so that you would remember, stamp the thank you first, or stamp your sentiment first before you do this technique on your cards. And then I tried it with Calypso Coral, not embossed, embossed. And then I tried it with Daffodil Delight. I always think that black and yellow goes so good together. But again, so many different ways to make a bunch of simple thank you cards. And I'm always needing thank you cards because I send thank you notes to those who place orders with me and such. So I have 6 easy cards that I've already got ready. All right, guys, happy stamping, y'all.